I've criticized Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. I didn't like the decision he made to allow police officers to kind of back off and let them basically burn down the precinct. But Jacob Frey was treated wrong yesterday. Let me explain why. Jacob Frey, you got to give him credit for this. He showed some guts here in speaking in a predominantly black crowd about a very, very sensitive issue.
It was mixed, Brian. It was probably okay. 60. It was probably 60-40 minority to Caucasian.
It's a very hostile environment.
Sure, yeah, I'll agree with that.
And he's showing some guts instead of hiding behind his desk, getting out there and talking to the people. I give him credit for that. Not a lot of politicians would do that. So he's talking to protesters after telling the group that he would not support defunding and abolishing the city's police department. But I want you to have a listen to this exchange because I think the mayor's being very fair here. Listen to his words, and then listen to the way he was treated by some of these idiots. Have a listen to this.
Jacob Frey, we have a yes or no question for you. Yes or no, will you commit to defunding Minneapolis Police Department? What did I say? We don't want no more police. Is that clear? We don't want people with guns toting around in our community, shooting us down. You have an answer? It is a yes or a no. It is a yes or a no. Will you defund the Minneapolis Police Department? All right, be quiet, y'all. Be quiet, because it's important that we actually hear this. It's important that we hear this, because if y'all don't know, he's up for re-election next year. If y'all don't know, he's up for re-election next year. And if he says no, guess what the f*** gonna do next year? What'd you say?
I do not support the full abolition of police.
All right, get the f*** out of here. Go home. Go home, Jacob. 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 Go home. Go home.
Okay, let me be very clear on this one, folks. And again, this is one of those situations where I always attack both sides of the aisle, and I always attack both sides of an issue, and this is a perfect example of that. That woman is a complete moron. Those people who are chanting, "Go home, Jacob, go home," are morons. That woman who said, "We don't want no mo police," is a moron. She is an uneducated piece of garbage. There is not one person in America that is a logical human being that thinks we should not have police. God forbid if somebody breaks into that woman's house and tries to rape her or steal anything in her home or anything, who is she going to call if there's no police? You know what? Next time she calls 911, if God forbid, if somebody is hurting her or robbing her, I'll be on the other end of that phone call and say, "Sorry, man, we don't have no mo police." That's what I will say to her. Next time she calls 911, I want the dispatcher to say, "Sorry, ma'am, you said no mo police. We got no mo police." That's what I will say to her. She is an idiot. Those people in the crowd are mistreating the mayor. I give him 100%. By the way, Mayor Jacob Frey could have pandered. He could have said yes.
He could have definitely
and he
pandered.
didn't curl up.
And
I have a newfound respect for him for doing that.
It's hard to argue that. And also the way that was all set up, it was kind of, I don't even know what's the word. It's not extortion, but it's just kind of like it was set up where
idiots.
I mean, it was crazy.
They're idiots.
And then at the end of that, you don't hear this because when he actually walked off, he had a walk of shame, and people were yelling shame, 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 like in Game of Thrones when Queen Cersei did her shame walk. That actually just happened in the United States to a mayor. But yeah, I do have a lot of respect for Jacob Frey committing to that.
Naked?
But that was no, he was not naked, but she was. But that was one of the weirdest situations. He like mentioning that he's up for re-election and then hoping that that's going to influence his decision. And then him saying, understanding that this is a radical person who's talking at that point. By the way, you've got radical people in power in Minneapolis, which is why these type of ideas.
That woman wasn't in power.
Well, I mean, no, but the city council is radical, Brian. I mean, nine
I'm not talking about the city
right,
council.
no, but I'm saying
about this specific situation.
That woman is the same as the city council woman.
I disagree.
Lisa Bender, who went on CNN yesterday, and she called it a privilege if someone breaks into your home and you're able to call the police. That's the same thought process.
Okay, but
I'm saying in Minneapolis, people are in power that are radical.
Okay, but I'm not.
But there's
talking
not
about
that many. There's not a lot of radicals across the country.
Let's focus on this.
There might be 500,000 or so. What I'm saying is, it's impressive that Jacob Frey realized that Minneapolis has 500,000 people, and there's only a couple thousand at this particular protest, and they don't represent the majority of the people in Minneapolis. It's impressive that despite the fact that he was getting, egged on and instigated to make a ridiculous statement or to do something he didn't want to do, that he didn't fall for it, and he recognized what his city actually has for a population and how poorly that would be received.
So, again, the woman who said we don't want no mo police is an uneducated, ignorant piece of garbage. And the reason why I say that is because anybody in America, if you're hurt, if you're being burglarized, whatever the case may be, you need to call the police for help. And I hope that this woman isn't attacked. I hope that nothing bad happens to her or her family. But God forbid, if something does happen, I want the other person on the line, when she calls 911, the dispatcher, say, sorry, ma'am, you asked for no mo police. We got no mo help for you. No mo help for you, ma'am. You dumbbell.
And let's think about this. Let's say there's no mo police, and you are a senior citizen couple, and your wife has some diamonds, and you've got some money. You have to hire. How could you live in a city as a senior citizen without a private police force 24/7 or security force at your house protecting you? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You literally could not live in a policeless society as a senior citizen.
I have no tolerance for ignorant people, okay? Whether you're a white supremacist or whether you're one of these protesters that are violently, burning down buildings, or whether you're that woman who said we don't want no mo police. Now listen, if you want to say we don't want no mo police brutality, that's okay. I'm on board with that. If you want to talk about mistreatment of minorities and change in this country, I'm all on board. But no mo police? That is an ignorant statement. You're making your cause look very bad, and you sound like a very dumb human being, and I'm sure she's very stupid and uneducated. So I'm tired of it. That mayor showed some guts. I give him credit. I criticized him a few weeks ago, but you know what? I have a newfound respect for him for answering and doing it in a very hostile environment that was very unnecessary. He didn't have to be there, and he was. And those people should be ashamed of themselves for the way they treated the mayor. Ashamed.